Hey there, I'm Coach Fierros, and welcome to Job Interview Preparation for Teachers. Build confidence, get hired, teach with purpose. Whether this is your first interview or your 10th, this workshop is here to help you feel more prepared, more confident, and more connected to your purpose as an educator. Now, as you go through today's workshop, I want you to know that you don't have to figure this one alone. I offer free private sessions where you can get support with mock interviews, demo lessons, or even just talking through your nerves and goals. So go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and book a time with me. I'll be honored to support you one-on-one. Now let's dive in and get you hired. This is Job Interview Preparation for Teachers. Build confidence, get hired, teach with purpose. My name is Coach Fierros, and thank you for signing up for this workshop. I hope that you find this workshop very informative. So a little bit about me before we get started. I'm a credentialed physical education teacher with a master's degree in kinesiology and over a decade of experience working with students and teachers. Now, I have supported hundreds of educators through the credentialing process, resume development, and interview prep. I also hold an adult designated credential, which means I'm certified to teach adult learners in areas like GED prep, health and safety, and family education. Now, through the Fluent World, I provide workshops and private sessions that help teachers feel confident, prepared, and ready to thrive in their careers, starting with a strong interview. All right, so let's take a quick look at what we're going to accomplish today. So, whether you're new to interviews or just need a refresh, this workshop will help you feel confident and prepared. Now, we'll talk about what types of interviews exist, how to answer with impact, how to show your philosophy and experience, and how to finish strong with thoughtful questions and follow up. Most importantly, you'll get a chance to practice along the way and build your confidence. Now, the way this workshop goes, I'm going to give you, some tips on how to have a successful teacher interview, but also I'm going to give you optional tasks. And again, they're just optional, so you could take them on. And if you do take on my optional tasks, you earn different badges. And with those badges, you earn some small rewards. Nothing big, just some rewards that are going to also help you, become successful in your job interview. Okay. All right. So now that you have seen what you're aiming for, it's time to personalize your journey. Okay. So I want you to write down your top three goals for this workshop. Now think about what you want to get better at. Maybe speaking more confidently, structuring your answers, or just feeling less nervous walking into the interview room. You'll submit your goals directly to me, and I'll follow up with a personalized check-in to help you on track. So this task must be completed within 30 days of signing up for the workshop. Now, when you submit, you unlock your goal setter badge and receive a downloadable goal tracker to keep your next steps. Okay, so this is your first optional task. Let's see if you can take it on. Again, email it to me at coachfieldros@gmail.com within 30 days of signing up for the workshop, and I'll reply with a small reward, a downloadable goal tracker to keep for your next steps. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and start with interview format types. Okay, so uh, there are three main types of teacher interviews you'll likely experience. Okay, in person, panel, or virtual. Now, each one has different dynamics. Now, for example, in person lets you build rapport with body language and energy. Panel interviews may feel intimidating at first, but they're usually about seeing how you'll fit in a team. Virtual interviews are increasingly common, so it's important to practice looking into the camera and having a clean background. So we'll dive into how to prepare for each. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the in-person interview. Okay, so in-person is the traditional face-to-face, and most likely it will be at the school site. Now, the pros of having in-person interview is that you have that personal connection and it's easier to read body language. Something to be considered to consider in regards to being in an in-person interview is that nerves may be higher and travel course is required. The other format is the panel interview. Now, the panel interview is could be between 2 to 6 people at once, right? And most likely, uh, the panel is going to feature admin, administration, like a principal, assistant principal, teachers who have been there for a while, who have great experience already teaching, and also members of human resources. Now, the pros of having a panel interview very much are that you show collaboration and a culture fit. And something to consider about can be being in a panel can be overwhelming and it can be rapid fire. Also, when it comes to panel interview, make sure that you ask who's going to be in the interview. So if there's going to be a panel, start practicing how to have eye contact with different people in the panel. And another format, virtual interview, can be conducted by Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, any of those online platforms. The pros are that it can be convenient and flexible, but something to consider about, there could be tech issues and harder to gauge reactions because people might be lagging. So, um, also, I want to mention, even though it could be also be an interview format type, is a phone screening. And some most employers in most school districts, they do a phone screening where someone from human resources actually contacts you by phone and gives you like a basic interview before moving on to the in-person interview. Sometimes the phone screen is just what you get, and you probably, there's situations where that could be the first round. And if you do not impress human resources, then most likely you're not going to get to the second round, which is the in person or panel interview. All right. So, optional tasks number two. So, this task is all about self awareness and preparation. So, each interview format has strengths and challenges. Use a comparison chart to reflect on how you will show up confidently no matter the format. And then you can submit it within 30 days of signing up to earn your format badge and receive my interview format prep pack. Okay. So you're going to create a comparison chart. You can draw it, you can type it, or use a template with the three interview types. And you're going to list what excites you about each one, what challenges do you anticipate, and one way you'll prepare for each. Okay, and once you turn this into me within 30 days of signing up to this workshop, to my email, of course, coachfielders@gmail.com, you earn the format badge, and with the format badge, you get an interview format PDF guide. Okay, and I'll give you a bonus checklist with each format. All right, so common interview questions. All right, so these questions come up in nearly every teacher interview. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some examples of those questions. So you might not hear all of them word for word, but you can count on these themes showing up. Now, interviewers want to know not just what you have done, but how you think, especially how you reflect, how you build relationships, and how you handle real classroom situations. Now, this is where strong preparation pays off. So, we'll be working on your answers together using tools like the STAR method. All right, so the 5 question types that most likely you're going to get in a teacher interview are philosophy and approach, classroom management, lesson planning and delivery, professionalism and reflection, and scenario based. Now, let's talk about a little bit more about philosophy and approach. Now, the sample questions that you might get there are questions like what is your philosophy, or what is your teaching philosophy, and why do you want to teach? Okay, so basically, what they're looking for there is clarity of values, student centered mindset. Now, of course, you may want to bring a copy of your teaching philosophy to the interview, but it's not like you're going to go ahead and paraphrase or just copy what the teaching philosophy is saying. But on your interview, make sure that you are, touching some of the main points from your teaching philosophy. Another question type that you're going to get is a classroom management, right? And they're going to ask you questions like how do you handle disruptions and how do you build a safe classroom environment? So what they're looking for there is your confidence your consistency and equity. Another question type also is lesson planning and delivery. They're going to ask you questions like describe a lesson or a successful lesson that you have taught, and how do you differentiate instruction? And what they're looking for there is planning, engagement, and how you adaptable to change. Another question type is professionalism and reflection. And questions that come from this question type are like, tell me about a time you received feedback and what are your areas for growth. And then, so what they're looking for there is growth mindset and reflection. How well you take feedback from, from other teachers or from administration. Another question type is a scenario based. Most likely, you're going to get questions like, "What will you do if a student refuses to participate?" And how will you support an ELL student? Okay? And what they're looking for there is your critical thinking and how you support strategies when it comes to working with students from that have different needs. All right, here comes optional task number 3. So for this task, you'll practice crafting clear, thoughtful responses to 3 common interview questions. Try to use real examples from your teaching or work experience and be concise. Send them to coachfieldos@gmail.com within 30 days. And once you do, I'll send you a personalized feedback on one of your responses and a star answer guide to help shape the others. Okay, so this is the Answer Architect badge. All right, the STAR method, answering behavioral questions. So the STAR method is your storytelling framework for behavioral interview questions. All right, so you're going to start with a specific situation, not vague or general. Just be brief but clear. Yeah. Now state the task you were responsible for and what needed to be done. And then next, you're going to share the actions that you took. Focus on your decisions and behaviors. And then finally, explain the result. What happened and what impact did you make? Now, interviewers love this format. It shows structure, clarity, and reflection. Okay? So try to prepare at least 3 star stories before you go to your interview. Now, a question that is most commonly going to happen, which is a behavioral question, is a question like, "Tell me about a time that you handled a conflict with a student." All right. So, in this situation, I'm going to give you an example of how would I answer this question based on or using the STAR method. Okay. Starting with situation. So I will say something like, last year, I had a middle school student who refused to participate in our PE activities and often disrupted the class by making negative comments during instructions. And then the task. My goal was to de escalate the conflict, understand the root cause of the behavior, and help the student re engage in a respectful and positive way without escalating the situation. And then here comes the action. Instead of confronting the student publicly, I waited until after class and I had a private, calm conversation. I asked open ended questions to understand how they were feeling and why they were upset. Now, the students shared that they felt embarrassed doing certain physical activities in front of others. So I thanked them for sharing and offer alternative options like modified exercises and setting small personal goals. I also checked in with them regularly to build relationships. And then the R, result. Over the next few weeks, the students' behavior improved. They began participating more often and even encouraged others. So by the end of the quarter, they completed all the required activities and expressed more confidence in class. The conflict turned into an opportunity for connection and growth. All right, so here comes your next optional task. Now you're going to choose one behavior interview question. Write your full response using the STAR method. Remember, situation, task, action, result. Now keep it concise, about 1 paragraph per step. Email your completed STAR response to coachfierros@gmail.com. must be submitted within 30 days of signing up for this workshop to earn your badge. So this is the star badge. And if you earn, of course, when you earn the star badge, you get one personalized star story review, and I'll give you feedback on your response. All right, so preparing for your questions to ask. So at the end of nearly every interview, you'll be asked to have if you have any questions. Now this is your opportunity to show that you have done your homework and that you care about the position. Now ask questions that reflect your desire to grow, support students, and to contribute to the school community. Now avoid questions about salary or time off. Save those when you actually are offered the job. All right. And it's okay to write them down beforehand and bring them to the interview. So, here are some strong examples of questions that you can ask after the interview. You can ask, like, what kind of support does the school provide for new teachers? How will you describe the school culture? What opportunities exist for professional development? How is success measured in this role? And what are the next steps in the hiring process? Okay? And those questions that you're asking pretty much tells the employer that you really care about the position. All right, here comes the next optional task. So at the end of nearly every interview, of course, you will be asked if you have any questions. So this is your opportunity to show that you have done your homework and that you care about the position. So what you're going to do here is you're going to write down three meaningful questions that you could ask at the end of an interview. Now use this sample list for inspiration, but make it personal to your teaching goals. Think about school culture, support, mentorship, or student population. Okay, so you're going to send your three questions to me to coachfierros at gmail.com, and then it must be submitted within 30 days of signing up to earn your Insight badge. Okay, and I'll give you feedback on your questions once I receive your questions. All right, so what to bring and how to dress. So your interview starts at the moment that you enter the building, even the parking lot. So dress professionally, but make sure that you're comfortable enough to feel confident. Bring enough resumes and references, and sometimes you'll meet with multiple people. So just like I said, you have if you have a panel, of course, bring multiple copies of your references in your resume and copies of your teaching philosophy or in your portfolio. So that way, you distribute those to the panel. Having a pen and notepad shows that you're organized and ready to learn because, of course, you're taking notes. Your prepared questions also demonstrate initiative and reflection. So make sure that you bring those with you. All right, so here comes your next optional task. So this task helps you visualize success. It eliminates the guesswork and gives you peace of mind interview every day. Right? So even veteran teachers get nervous. So being prepared is your best defense against anxiety. So in this optional task, you're going to create your personal interview checklist. So include your office of your choice, items that you will bring, like resume, references, any grooming or prep steps you'll take, and then take a photo or type it up and email it to me at coachfielders at gmail.com. Okay. And once you do that, you're going to earn the professional presence badge. As a reward, you'll receive it a one-on-one custom video response from me, Coach Fierros, reviewing your checklist and give you interview days confidence tips. All right, so closing thoughts, next step. So congratulations on completing this workshop. So whether you're just getting started or brushing up your skills, your effort here matters. Now, this is not just about getting hired, it's about finding a school that values you. Now, check your badge progress. Earning them shows that you have gone beyond watching and really invested in yourself. So, submit any final task to get personalized feedback in your last batch. If you have earned all the badges, I'll personally send you a discount code for your final reward because you have officially reached the mastery level. That's right. Okay. So, your next steps is to schedule a private coaching session with me, right, for free. Right? And you're going to submit any remaining optional tasks within 30 days to coachfields at gmail.com and make sure that you reflect. What was your biggest takeaway from this workshop? Okay. All right. And if you earn all six badges in a Lock the Mastery badge, you'll get a 10% discount on your next workshop. All right. So to earn the Mastery badge, you're going to write a short paragraph answering one of the following. What was the most valuable thing that you learned? Which interview question do you now feel most confident answering? How has this workshop changed how you view interviews? And you're going to submit your responses to me. And again, submit it within 30 days to unlock your mastery badge, and you get a 10% discount code for your next workshop. All right. So that will be it for job interview tips for teachers. Hey, book that private session with me if you would like tips and or if you want to do a mock interview with me and I'll give you feedback along the way. I'm here for you. All right. Good luck on your next job interview. I hope that you get that job, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.
All right, great work today. And thank you for committing to this process. Interviews can be stressful, but you're not going into this alone. So if you would like extra support, I'm offering a free private session where we can practice mock interviews, fine tune your demo lesson, or just build your confidence. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your one on one with me. You got what it takes to be an incredible educator, and I cannot wait to help you bring that into your next interview. I'll see you soon.